Hello everyone and welcome to Bathroom Brews. Today, I'll be showcasing the power of Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle as an egg combo commander. If you're looking for a powerful combo deck that can keep up with the best of them, then look no further. So let's crack some eggs and scramble up a victory. Let's kick things off with the namesake of the deck, eggs. Eggs are 1-mana artifacts that can sacrifice themselves to draw cards. First, we have the new Candy Trail, which provides us with card advantage and life gain. Next is a classic in eggs decks, Conjurer's Bauble, which is a weird form of graveyard recursion and lets us draw a card. And then finally, we have Origin Spellbomb and Sunbeam Spellbomb. Again, these are just cheap ways for us to draw cards. Next are the nuts of the deck. Unlike eggs, nuts are 2-mana artifacts that will let us draw cards. And to stick to the food naming convention, we have Lembas. While this technically draws us a card when it enters, we can still sacrifice it to gain life, and then it will shuffle itself away for later use. Next, we have Moonsilver Key, which lets us tutor a mana rock or a land into our hand. I love being able to recur this to get Soul Ring and Arcane Signet from the deck. And finally, Ichor Wellspring, which isn't technically a nut since it can't sack itself, but I'll consider this blob an honorary nut. And finally, we have Cheerios. I promise this is the last food reference. Cheerios are any 0-mana artifacts. They don't need to have any special effects aside from being free. While I wish we could afford cards like Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, and Mox Diamond, those cards cost more than this entire deck, and sometimes even 10 times as much. So instead, we'll have to settle for Pauper staple, Welding Jar. Aside from being a cheap artifact, it also protects some key artifact creatures. Next is the kicker mana rock, Everflowing Chalice. While we can use this to ramp, I'd often rather play it for 0 mana just to recur something. And finally, the modern staple, Mishra's Bauble. Okay, and technically Ornithopter's also a Cheerio, so don't forget about the best creature in Magic. Other Cheerios you could include would be Claws of Gix, Tormod's Crypt, and Urza's Bauble. Any good EDH deck will have a multitude of ways to draw cards, and in mono white that happens to be cheap creatures. This is perfect with Teshar since they easily recur some of the best cantripping creatures. A staple of most of my budget white decks is Spirited Companion, who's arguably the best boy. If you're looking for a good early blocker, Wall of Omens is always a great include. And finally, Inspiring Overseer, which again, draws us a card. Noticing a pattern yet? Now, because Teshar wants us to cast historic spells to recur creatures, artifact creatures become much better here. I included Circuit Mender and Filigree Familiar for card draw and life gain they provide, and then Skyscanner because it draws us cards. Finally, my favorite artifact creature is Zenith Chronicler. I put this in my recent Sir Ginger deck, which you should definitely check out after watching this, and it has done amazing for me in that deck. Most players won't want to kill it since they're also drawing cards. And it's a cheap artifact creature, so we can Skull Clamp it. Yeah, I put Skull Clamp in this budget deck. And then finally, I didn't want to just add creatures that drew us cards. After all, there are plenty of powerful creatures at 3 mana or less, even on a budget. If we want to beat face with tokens, Digsite Engineer will let us make Karnstruct tokens for only 2 mana. And then we have Welcoming Vampire, which is card draw, but it's when other creatures enter. And then Skyclave Apparition to remove pesky permanents when it enters the battlefield. Don't worry, I didn't forget about the combo. For all variations of this combo, you can check out the link in the video description below to Commander Spellbook. All you need is to have Teshar and Blasting Station in play, along with Mirror Retriever either in your hand or in the graveyard, and Ornithopter in your hand. First, cast Mirror Retriever from your hand. Then you can sacrifice it to Blasting Station, dealing 1 damage to an opponent. Then cast Ornithopter, and return Mirror Retriever to the battlefield with Teshar's ability, which will then untap Blasting Station. Then Ornithopter will enter the battlefield, triggering Blasting Station's untap ability. With that untap trigger on the stack, you sacrifice Ornithopter, dealing 1 damage to an opponent. Then Blasting Station will untap, allowing you to sacrifice Mirror Retriever to deal 1 damage to an opponent. Then you return Ornithopter to your hand with Mirror Retriever's ability. Now you just repeat steps 3 through 6 for infinite damage to your opponents. You also get infinite ETBs, LTBs, Storm, Death triggers, and Sacrifice triggers. Now this combo works with any 0-mana artifact that you can sacrifice on the same turn, such as Mishra's Bauble, or any other 0-mana artifact creature. You can replace Mirror Retriever in this combo with Scrap Trawler, Salvager of Ruin, and Workshop Assistant, all of which I've made sure to include in the deck. If you have the extra budget, Altar of Dementia or Grinding Station are great backs up to Blasting Station, while Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, and Krark-Clan Ironworks generate infinite mana. And finally, my absolute favorite card in this deck, Second Sunrise. This card was part of a modern combo a number of years ago, which used Pyrite Spellbomb as your primary win condition. Don't ask me exactly how this deck worked, it's been 11 years since I've seen it. But Second Sunrise is in the deck to help you dig for the combo. With the help of Skull Clamp and Arcbound Ravager, both of which I managed to fit in a $50 deck, I'm just that good. We can easily sacrifice our entire board and quickly recur it with Second Sunrise to give us the best chance of drawing into our combo. If you want to try something risky but really fun, you could add Zuran Orb to the deck. This combos nicely with Second Sunrise since it also returns lands to your battlefield untapped. So you can tap all of your lands for mana, sacrifice them to Zuran Orb, then cast Second Sunrise to return all of them untapped, giving you nearly twice the amount of mana. Just be careful because if someone counters your Second Sunrise, you'll pretty much be out of the game. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this deck. Did you like it? Do you love Teshar? Do you want to see more combo decks like this? Let me know. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. Alright, see ya!